What up, though, my G's? Y'all sure know what it is. It is BKA Watts, one half of the Blerds and Clips podcast right here on the Pro 3 ENT network. As always, delivering a flawless, repetitious intro, joined by my partner in crime.
Hi there, it's the award-winning Vigatron.
Yes. And as you can see, we have a special guest here on the stream with us. Somebody who we are probably not quite cool enough to talk to yet. But hey, listen, if you ain't hip yet, you need to be hip to the big home himself. You see the background and changed up. Yes, you see that outside. Sultan Salahuddin in the building.
What's happening, everybody? How y'all doing, man? It's a pleasure to be here on Blends and Clips. I almost blew that, but it's a pleasure to be here, guys. It's so similar. It's so close to something else I want to say, but
hey, listen.
That's how it came
completely intentional. You know what I'm saying? But you know, we played with a layered thing. You know what I'm saying? With the blue and red also being how the old school 3D glasses used to be. Since we talked movies. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? Went off a little layered play on words with things and such, and so far we ain't got into a fight with no gangsters yet. So,
that's good, man.
We are neither.
No,
wonderful.
Yeah.
When you said the old glasses, you made me think of back in Chicago. We used to watch a show called Son of Sanguli. And you would have to put those glasses on, one eye be red, one be black, and then also the old school 3D, which never really took effect. But, you know, hey, I believed it as a kid, so we're going to say it worked.
Hey, you listen, never took effect in real life. But, hey, you know what? It happens. You know, gimmicks come and they go. Them new shiny ones that just look like regular plastic sunglasses is all right, I guess. Just kind of make everything dark.
By all means, I want to say as well, forgive our mess, so to speak. We have the basic back at white ground because we are not in our normal facility for recording.
Right.
In his basement, we're actually he's throwing a art gallery show dedicated to Jay-Z Day. So we're actually at the studio space where outside the doors here, they're actually setting up for this art show. So
congratulations on your art show.
Hey, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. I'm a full-time artist, so for my day-to-day, I'm typically sitting around drawing somebody's miscellaneous relative, neighbor, whatever the case may be. So so we got a whole Jay-Z blueprint show happening. I got 15 artists on the other side of this door right now that are setting up and getting ready. So they got to fend for themselves right now though, so we can do what we do. You know what I mean?
That's awesome. That's what's up, man. Hey, again, congratulations on that. Love to see art.
No, absolutely. And trust me, I got a piece coming your way. So you know, now that we contact, this is great. I just like making my art and just creating a situation where I can put my art in people's hands that I enjoy their work and that I'm a fan of. So that opportunity is pretty dope. So I definitely want to get something to you, man.
I appreciate
that. Yeah, man, we ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying, spend too much time with the we gonna get into the BS. So listen, you know, people talk about all the time. They talk about you know, when you follow people, social media makes people so accessible that you kind of feel like, you know, you feel like you know somebody, or you get to know somebody, or you know, you feel like you got a connection with them. And kind of similar to what we told your sister when we talked to her, we don't get to feel like that with y'all. Y'all like private. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are private people. Kind of sneaky, you know what I'm saying? How do you maintain that while doing these celebrity things?
I think it's important to have boundaries in everything that you do, man. You know, it's about an exchange of energy. You only can give so much of yourself throughout the day to your loved ones, to your friends, to your family, to your fans. And it's really important to know how to recognize that balance within self, because it's real easy to burn out. And if you don't set those limits, you know what I mean? You won't have anything left in the tank for yourself at the end of the day. So it's, you know, you're right. The world has changed where a lot of celebrities, if you will, or what do they call those? Influencers or individuals that are very popular. They can be readily accessible if you catch their eye. But, you know, you got to be, in my opinion, and for me, it's important to be balanced and to make sure that I am not overexerting myself as well as just doing too much, because, you know, social media is a double-edged sword. One minute they love you and the next minute they don't. So you just got to be very, I think, just like how you treat anybody else in life, be professional, be courteous, and know what you stand for and know what, where your limits are. And I think you'll be fine.
Yeah. Absolutely. I could completely agree and understand that, because I'm a very public person because of the things that I do, from art to, to hosting and throwing events, stuff like today even. And so I kind of don't have a choice but to be very public with so much. Right. So there are some things that that people would just never know, because I keep it absolutely locked up. And people feel like they know so much about me because I let them in on so much. But there's some things that are definitely still under wraps. You know what I mean?
Right. You got to have some stuff for yourself and for your loved ones and those who are not like in the limelight or live this part of your life with you. You still gotta exist outside of social media, outside of TV, outside of film, if that's what you're doing, or even outside of art, in a sense, in the case for yourself. So it's really important just to have that balance.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. And yeah, because it's really, what I mean, like, that may be your dream. This thing may be what you want to. That don't necessarily mean that that's the case for your loved ones and the people that you have in your life. So you being in that space, you also have to be mindful, because then whatever light you have, it inevitably will shine to them too. So I see what you mean.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So to start a trail here, to let you know how this all came about. So I guess it's been probably late 2019 or so, probably then.
What?
The Sherman Showcase.
Oh, yeah.
So Sherman Showcase, when it hit Hulu, and I kind of heard some things about it, ended up watching it, got hit, then realized your brother, Bashir, when I'm like, oh, he's on Glow too. And then I had already seen like one episode of SouthSide when it was on YouTube, when Comedy Central had put it there, but I didn't have cable, so I didn't get to watch the rest of the episode. So when it hit HBO at the beginning of last year, I had already told him about Sherman, got him hip to that. We were loving that, just vibing off that. And then once I ended up seeing SouthSide and finally getting to watch the other 9 episodes, I'm like, yo, bro, you gotta watch this.
Yeah.
And like, we were wilding on, so like, we became super fans. Like,
oh man, appreciate that.
Yeah, no, like for real. So that whole last year, we were fiending, wondering when season 2 was coming.
Yeah,
he started following Diallo. It hit Diallo up, asking him some stuff, and then nothing really panned out with that so far. But then by the time season 2 came out and we went watching through that, he decided to hit up Zuri, and she said, like, she come on the show. And once we interviewed her, so like when she was sharing our interview with her, and then you made the remark, I'm like, yo, like, we'd really love to talk to you, because, like, for real, like you said, we are super fans. So even if you don't get this kind of treatment from other places, just understand that this is the reason why you're here, is because of the love. Like, this ain't clout. This ain't nothing else.
Yeah, we don't care about none of that. I don't care. Like, that ain't none of that is important.
Right. We could have virtually nobody watching. Our thing is like, yo, this is for us. Like, we wanted to talk to you and really pick your brain about the show and just understand, the dynamics further about what goes on with working with your fam and all of that.
Indeed. Well, I'm here for that. I'm here to ask your questions. I just want to say I appreciate you guys having me on. It's always a treat to be able to talk about SouthSide, and this is a privileged position to be in, and I recognize that. And more than anything, I'm just thankful that we are able to spread our humor and joy from SouthSide across the nation. And getting on HBO Max was more like a second premiere, if you will, because like you said, when we were on Comedy Central, a lot of people didn't have cable, or they cut the wire already and they weren't able to find us. And so, but when we were making that transition, we finally landed on HBO Max. It just really, really opened the doors, and a lot of people, our audience basically was able to find us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's really, really dope. And that was the thing. I definitely wanted to ask you how that situation kind of unfolded, how it went from Comedy Central and made its way to HBO Max without, we ain't trying to get too deep in y'all business, but what was that situation like, or how did that come about?
Well, the short and skinny of it is like we were on Comedy Central and they were making a transition in the format of the types of content that they were going to provide on Comedy Central itself. And HBO came over to Comedy Central and made them an offer and said, these are the shows that we're interested in. And Comedy Central was pretty much like, well, we're making this change anyway. And basically HBO Max bought our show along with some other good ones. I think they bought South Park, they bought Aquafina, they bought a few other ones, some pretty good ones. So we were in good company. And next thing we know, we're like, oh, we're on HBO Max. And for us, it was like, going from a taxi cab to the limo. So it was a rush. It was exciting.
That's what's up. That's definitely what's up. So then my follow-up to that is, were there a particular amount of seasons or episodes that they ordered with that and making that move happen? I mean, how many seasons we looking at potentially getting?
Well, as it stands right now, when they purchased our show, we already had a season 2 in production. And so as of right now, we're just at season 2. Not sure if we're going to have a season 3. Not saying we are, not saying we're not. That's not how Hollywood works. It really is up to the numbers and a whole bunch of other things that are behind the scenes that I don't have control over. But I can't say that, I can't say what that number is. All I can do is give my best effort when it comes to performances, my best effort in the writing room, and let the chips fall where they may and hope that the people love and support it. And I think what really makes a difference in whether seasons or show continues on is the fans and how much people like the show and how much they enjoy it and the numbers. So, it really comes down to a metric that is behind the scenes that HBO Max is fully in charge of. And I just don't really, I can't call it. So, but
understood.
Until it's, said and done, my mind is always, all right, well, we'll wait to see what happens for next season.
Absolutely. Okay. So speaking of which, so co-creator,
yes,
writer, star. How did this come about?
He's a triple threat.
When you started this show, whose idea was it? What was the inception of it from the very beginning?
Okay, so the inception was like in my mom's house in Chicago. My friend Quincy used to work at Rent a Center. Actually, he actually plays Q on the show. Right. And he used to come over. He used to come over, and we would talk about some of his stories and all his exciting things that were going on. At the same time, while we were having these stories, Bashir and Diallo were diligently writing in Hollywood, making their way and putting up projects and all that kind of stuff. So what happened was myself, Bashir, and Diallo actually sat down and had a meeting. And from there, the concept basically took off from there. And then the next thing you know, they sold it in the room at Comedy Central. And so that's how the co-creators element came to it. And then from there, we just continue to be invested in the show and think about the funniest ways that we can make people laugh. One of the cool things about it was that we wanted to make sure that it was true to Chicago. We wanted to make sure that it was a story that allowed Chicago to tell its own story through its own people. And then the other thing was we wanted to make sure that we had some of the funniest people that we knew on the show, not necessarily XYZ comedian or XYZ actor or actress. And so what happened was once the show was sold, we did what is called a sizzle reel. And in the sizzle reel, you could actually get a really, really clear concept of the show. And when Comedy Central actually purchased the show, I got to give kudos to the executive producers for SouthSide. They stuck to their guns and said, these are the guys that we want on the show. And we think they are the characters that define what we're trying to do. And Comedy Central trusted them, and the rest is history. So that's how I ended up in the role that I'm in, and the twins, as well as Bashir and Chandra and Diallo and Zuri and everybody else. But at the end of the day, we did have to prove ourselves. Every episode was tested. We had to go through the gauntlet, and we had to be funny. And so it just became a fact of we basically had what it take. We had what it took, past tense, that they feel comfortable, all right, I think this is the team we're going to run with, and the rest is history, man. So that's kind of how that worked out. As far as writing goes, I've always been a writer. I used to do stand-up pretty heavy in the Midwest before I was doing SouthSide. And I just basically I retrain my mind to be like, okay, let me take the joke writing format from a short form and put my energy into the long form of storytelling, including jokes et cetera, et cetera. And then the rest is, got into the writing room, got the opportunity, and knocked it out of the park. So, definitely had to prove myself, definitely had to work really, really hard. Just the fact that we are all siblings and friends and family and we all work together, at the end of the day, we still had to prove ourselves. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here.
Thank you for that, because I was going to ask you, after talking to Zuri, and she mentioned that you were doing some stuff in real estate, and I know she said that she had a background in performance and things like that, and I was going to ask you what was yours, but like you said, you were doing stand-up, so that makes perfect sense. You're used to being on stage, used to performing in some aspects, so do you feel like it's still luck of the draw for you to have friends like in Quincy and Kareem to actually still be able to be on screen as well and work that way, where you have so many other people around you with, your sister-in-law and so many other people within that you just got really lucky to have a bunch of talented people that could actually handle being on screen like that, because that doesn't work for everybody.
Absolutely, man. Like, it was the cosmic forces and a whole bunch of magic involved. Like I couldn't have planned it any better. Even if I tried. I think that one of the things that were really important was starting out, we had a core of talented but funny people. Like, that was the main thing, is like, the twins are naturally funny. Bashir is naturally funny. Chandra Diallo, Zuri, naturally funny. These are funny individuals. So with that being said, it wasn't that hard to pull the funny out. What was most challenging was making sure and not knowing whether they would mesh well. But it turns out that, on screen, the chemistry, the timing, the comedic energy, it just worked out very well. So yeah, you can't plan something like that. It either works or it doesn't. But I think if you put the right pieces in the right places and allow them a chance to blossom and let them do their thing without and trust in their talent, this is what you get.
It definitely shows, because aside from that, so us on the outside looking in, when I watch any of these shows, it just feels like, just that. A bunch of family and friends hanging out and having so much fun with the stuff that they created, where it's like the chemistry is just in a way that can't really be described. Nothing feels forced about it. It really feels like, even for some of the other performers that you may not have known for the longest, it feels like y'all all grew up together and were just around each other for the longest, where you just know, and it just fires on all those cylinders.
I appreciate that. That's a huge compliment. And one of the things that, we don't really get to talk about it as much, but Michael Blyden is the director, and he's really good at just bringing out the funny in you, as well as he's first of all, he's very funny. But in addition to that, he has this ability to not only make you comfortable, but make you challenge yourself and bring the best out of you when it's talking for the performance and for the actual scene. So, like, there were so many magical moments that didn't make it in the show, but you can see that they bleed over into some of the performances, as well as a lot of the chemistry between the cast.
Got you.
Yeah, for sure. No, that actually, I mean, you hit on so many of those points, and the things that are all, because a lot of times it's hard to pinpoint what it is that makes something really work, but y'all got a lot of that, and also spoke to your sister about it too, and that's the thing. It's a thing where, like, right now, today, like, when it came to this event we're doing, I asked my graphic designer, because he's great at graphic design, make the flyer for this event. I asked my DJ this event. I put people in the position of the thing that I know that they're good at, people who I know are solid, who I know their work is going to give me exactly what I'm looking for, and I put them in position. I use my people for what they are good at and what they're good for, and create the right opportunities from it. I don't ask somebody. I'm not in a. It would be great to be able to say, "Oh, I put all my people on," but oftentimes we see when people try to just put people on, they put people in any position just to say that they put them on, and then it goes bad. You know what I mean? So I've learned that the best thing to do is put people in the position that fits to what their strength is, and when you do that, it works. Fortunately, y'all got a bunch of people who can all get in front of that camera and be funny and act and pull off those jokes and keep a straight face, and that is magic.
Yeah, we're very fortunate in that way. Like, I go back and watch some of the scenes sometimes, and I myself am in awe. Like, whoa, that went. I didn't realize how smoothly that went, and I attribute it to the dedication from every character and cast member. Because one thing that I can say that is consistent between all of us is that we want the best show possible versus one single performance that's better than everyone else. So that's what I get from it. That's the energy that I give to it. That's the energy that I get from my co-stars, if you will. And yeah, that commitment to it being the funniest and the best show that it can possibly be, it reigns supreme over everything else. And that's from the top down.
Cool. Now, looking at, it's interesting to know, just like you said, that Quincy actually used to work at Rent a Center. Because first watching the episode, watching the first episode, you're like, okay, is this, like I said, it took me, since watching the first episode, it took me a whole year to, get to see the other ones. So when I'm looking at it, I'm thinking that's the basis of what the show is about. So when I got to see the other episodes, and I realized, to me, and maybe I'm wrong, it feels really like a love letter to Chicago is what it really is in so many ways. Because I guess by the time the day that Jordans dropped,
man, bruh, yeah, that was the episode. That was the one that was like, oh, yeah, yeah.
And mind you, us being from Cleveland, so we're not far off from this whole Midwest lifestyle thing related. So that's why when that episode came, there was just such a subtle genius about it, and just saying, yeah, y'all showing the stuff that we go through and what things are about here. But it was such a love letter to all of that, where you have such an ensemble cast where it's not really about, well, it's just these two guys working at RTO. It's like so many other things happening, and that's what made it dope to me, because you didn't get stuck on saying like, all right, well, what are they doing today? It's like you never know where the story's going.
Right. That's an interesting thing to be able to get that kind of thing. There's continuity in some sense, and there's things happening with these characters, but every episode is also still different at the same time, which is also really genius. So I just want to, just hats off and applause to y'all, and you just cannot understand that is really solid work. And it's just another level of work, of writing, of crafting, and putting something together that I feel like it's, again, like we said when Zori was on, this intelligent nigga shit.
That's funny. Hey, well, I gotta, to your point about a love letter to the city, shout out to Bashir Salahuddin, my brother. He was the showrunner on the show both seasons, and that's one of the things that were really important to him, was to make sure that it wasn't a show where you knew exactly what was coming. It was the same thing over and over again. And also that you get a chance to see and display our city and the comedy in our city and the love that our city has. And it's not one dimensional. And it's not that, and we all fell right behind him and fell in line, but he had that vision moving forward. And one of the things that, I'm really proud of about the way that he led the group in that regard was exactly what you said, was he made sure that people got to see the city of Chicago for more than what it usually is seen on, like, in the mass media or what you may think it is, in addition to just some of that Midwest feel, and capture some of the true essence of Chicago. Because, if you're not from Chicago, you can still laugh and get a lot of the jokes and you'll be entertained. But if you're from Chicago, it has a whole nother level, all the way down to the dialogue, down to the jokes, down to the scenes, down to the streets, down to some of the words that we use in some of the scenes as well. Like, there's a whole nother level of entertainment and love, as you say, love letter to the city, that we made sure was infused in our show.
Yeah, it feel like y'all are Marvel style with the Easter eggs directly to the city that what I'm saying, that you gotta know. You got to know what you see and to see it, which definitely creates a whole nother thing. If you go looking for something, you'll find something else there in addition, and it kind of goes beyond that, which is dope. Because like I said, and like Vig said, we Midwest too. We're in Cleveland, so
absolutely.
It definitely still feels like this could be us, and it make me feel like, damn, like there should be I wouldn't know what side of Cleveland to make the show based on, but damn, it should be something like this for us. But this feels so close that it's like, this is cool though. I'll take this.
Right.
I'll take this for sure.
Yeah, so many parallels up until you get to a point where it's like, okay, then you had an episode with the spades, and then you think about things like with the step, and it's like, okay, we don't have the step. We don't have the step culture here, so that separates it. Where you're like, see, now I know this is a Chicago thing,
right?
You can watch that,
but that's the thing. It's not overbearing. It's not like even though it's about Chicago, even though it's what I'm saying, it's set in Chicago, it's based in Chicago. You got Chicago people, you got Chicago Easter eggs and things all in it. It's not like, hey, Chicago. You know what I'm saying? It's not overbearing. It doesn't alienate anywhere else. So like you said, you can laugh at it and be from somewhere else and enjoy it. But it still has its root of what it is, the base of what makes it dope.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it was important for us to make a good, hard, strong comedy. Like, we want people to laugh, we want people to have a good time and let their guards down for 30 minutes out of the day and just enjoy what we have to offer. That's the main driving force. Is we're comedy, man. It's about making people laugh.
Which is and that's the wild part about it. Because comedy today is difficult. I mean difficult. You can't be as raunchy as they were in the 80s to 90s, especially the 90s. You can't say just completely over the top, wild, off color shit because people are so fast to, nah, we don't mess with that. Nah, cancel that. Nah, we can't. Nah, we don't support that. Nah, y'all against. It's so difficult. So it's a tough space to work in. I know, we know, every week one of us say a joke and it's like, shit, we gotta edit it out. You know what I'm saying? We gotta cut that. But, for y'all to be able to do what y'all doing, it's extremely commendable because I wouldn't want to have your job because I just feel like it'd be too difficult a line to walk sometimes.
Well, I think at the end of the day, man, you got to be true to yourself. You got to be true to your craft. And if you walk around on eggshells all the time, you're never going to become who you're supposed to be. So I think no matter how great you are or bad you are, you're going to always have critics. And that's just, there's nobody on this planet who's doing something worth their own soul, who's enjoying it, that does not have someone else criticizing that. And people may not always agree with you, but that's the beauty of it. It's like, okay, there are people who I'm sure there are people who don't enjoy SouthSide. I don't know what planet they're on, but I'm sure there are some. I'm sure there's someone. But my point is like, you got to make a decision on whether you're going to move forward with what you have to offer the world, or you're going to move cautiously, hoping to get approval from individuals before you make your move. And I'm not, one of the individuals on the planet who was asking for permission. You know what I mean? If anything, I'll say, I'll ask for forgiveness, but I'm not asking for permission to move forward, to be me, to be funny. And the energy, the thing about comedy, the thing about jokes is it's all about intent. Like, we're not making jokes to be mean. We're making jokes to be funny and to make people laugh. Now, if it bothers you, then that means an individual may want to do a self-check. If something is said that bothers you personally, that's nobody knows it bothers you until you say something. In other words, A joke is a joke. So and that goes back to stand-up. Like, I learned that from the stand-up days. Is like, early on, you can't, if you believe in a joke and you want to work it, I've heard some very dark and horrible stuff, but that person thought it was funny and they were true to themselves. And, I know what you're saying, like with the cancel culture and all that going on, but there are still comics today. They're just not, they're in private settings. They're in nightclubs. They're just not at the college campuses, and they're just not broadcasting it on the internet so that people can, have something to say, but they're still true to their craft and they're still bringing that funk. So, I think it definitely becomes an individual decision. And I think people can tell whether when you're trying to be mean or when you're just trying to be funny, and it comes off that way. So to each his own, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm thinking of this. Speaking of which, so since you were bringing up stand-up, so have you hung up the mic, or with you being on the West Coast, are you showing up at the Laugh Factory every now and then, getting in 5 minutes or anything, or what's it like for you, or are you just done with stand-up altogether?
Here's the thing about stand-up, man. You can't play with it. You got to work at it. You got to be true to it. So I have not gotten back on the stage because I haven't put in the time with the pen or with the open mics to work on jokes. I refuse to disrespect the craft and just be like, yeah, I still got it, trying to prove something. No, stand-up comedy is to be respected. It's a craft, man. And if you don't, if you're not willing to put the time, because I know right now I don't have the time to dedicate to a 5 minutes of material that's not outdated or something old I used to do and I'm trying to resurrect. No, I'm not doing that. So, but that's to say, if I have hung up the microphone, no, never. I think I've always will be funny. I've always have something quick, witted, and funny to say. But when it comes to actual stand-up, I'm going to, before I get back on anybody's stage, I'm going to spend maybe a month and a half writing and working on jokes and practicing in the mirror before I even hit the stage and know what my material is before I get up there. Because it's not something to play with, man. It's to be respected. So that's my position.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you. That being said, can I stir the pot a little bit?
Shit.
I almost hope I don't piss you off with this question, but I'm about to pose it out here. So that being said,
yeah,
in the same vein that I look at Eddie Murphy, and I think Delirious, Raw, and Eddie Murphy's one of the funniest people in the world. Where you're talking about overall, all the movies he's done, all of the sketch comedy, and I'm quick to be like, Eddie Murphy's not in my top 5 of stand-up comedians of all time, and I don't even think he really needs to be up there because of that very thing, that he doesn't do it enough, and he hasn't done it in like 30 years for real. Plus, that why should he be put on that pedestal for stand-up? Am I tripping?
I mean, I think that question is, you have to look at it and dissect it. We're talking about time frames, right?
Right.
Nothing lasts forever. Let me give you a perfect example. You got kids today who think LeBron James is the greatest of all time, right?
True. Right. Right.
You have people today who think Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time, right? You have people today who think Wilt Chamberlain is the greatest of all time.
True.
So my point is, you can always have your perspective, but it's about the era. It's about the time. Is Eddie Murphy one of the top 5 stand-up comics today? Absolutely not. Is he one of the top 5 ever in the history of stand-up? That's debatable, depending on who you're talking about. We could even talk about Rudy Ray Moore going all the way back, Red Fox going all. We could talk, Richard Pryor. We can even go all the way back. There are people today, comics and non-comics, who say Richard Pryor is still the greatest of all time. And then there are others who are like, nah. So for me, I think the question comes down to the era you're speaking of and the individual that you're speaking of, and their specific taste in comedy. One of the comics that I enjoy here as of late, and because of just his ability to do his what am I trying to say? His commitment to the craft. Okay, so here's the thing about comedy, right? When you get on stage, you want people laughing every 2.5 seconds. Think about what I just said.
Yep. That's
you want people sniggling, giggling, laughing. So that's a real metric that you can judge somebody by to see if they're funny. Now, if you get somebody on stage and they talk for 30 seconds and then they give you a joke and you just go, that's not as funny as somebody who comes on and you sniggling and giggling out within the first thing they say, and every 2.5 seconds thereafter, and you laugh all the way through where you like, dang, where did the time go? So that's the metric. One of the comics that does that really well today, Jim Gaffigan.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? And he gets on stage. I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No. Yeah, I'm just agreeing with you because the hot pocket shit, bro. Listen, hot pockets.
Yes,
no, that's enough, bro.
Yes.
That's enough.
Dude, you can go listen to any one of his stand-ups in the last 10 years, and again, I'm just going by that metric of making people laugh continuously from the beginning to the end. My man got it down. Yeah. That's to me, that's a dope comic. Y'all laughing as I talk about it because you can think about some of his jokes. Yo, man.
Right, and that's the whole thing. That's what's funny is that me and him have never talked about Jim Gaffigan together.
Ever.
It's hilarious.
Right. We think that he's hilarious, but we never shared that between the two of us.
Right.
So that's
didn't even know. Didn't even know that you liked him.
Right.
Right.
So dude. the new special that just hit Netflix. Like
that's right, he sure does.
Right, he got a new one on there, so I've been watching that. But yeah, Jim Gaffigan, yeah, especially since the Hot Pocket shit.
Yeah,
back in the day was always killing me. And also Sultan. So give you insight. I'm your age range. He's a bit younger than us, so you understand that there's a different. There's a slight different dichotomy about what makes us on top of that. So we have some of the same perspectives, but a little bit different because we're separated by over a decade.
Right.
Plus.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to put that out there just so you say. So I totally agree with what you're saying. Yeah. I've been studying stand-up somewhat since I was like maybe 10, 11, 12. I used to watch a shit ton of it. Like watching on Showtime and all of this stuff. Like anytime I could watch any stand-up, I've been watching it since the late 80s. Early 90s,
even the bad ones, just to see and learn the lessons and see that, all the way from Def Jam. I mean, another one of the comics that I think that was on that level that we didn't even talk about, Patrice O'Neill, the late great Patrice O'Neill.
Oh man, yeah, incredible.
You
talk about top 5, really? Come on, man.
Let's be clear. Patrice O'Neill is number 1.
Okay.
And luckily, I got to meet that man about a year or so before he passed away.
Yes.
He came to the Improv here in Cleveland, and it was one of those weird things. It was the last show. He bailed out, and me and my ex at the time and another couple, he stayed with us about a half hour after, just talking to us about relationship shit. And
he's a big Bernie Mac, another one of the late great Bernie Mac. That's my favorite stand-up of all time because, dude, you talk about the 2.5 seconds. You talk about making a joke hit. Yo, that guy had his own show downtown Chicago before TV. Before he had a whole club to himself where he put on a comedy show and was murdering. So there are a lot of very, very talented individuals. But if you want to go by the metric, by the number, I think there are a few that can rise to that occasion of, I was laughing from beginning to end. And I'm talking about even just, oh my God. What's her name? And let me give one quick shout out to the female comic. What's her name? Oh my God. She just did one called Time Machine. And she's from Compton.
Time Machine. I feel like I know who that is, and I know
she's very tall. She's like 6'2". In her stand-up, I want to say her name is her name is Leslie Jones? Yes, Leslie Jones. Thank you. Oh my God, one of my favorite. One of my favorite. Yo, when she come on stage, see, Leslie Jones to me is the consummate comedian. She come on stage and just give it to you. Non-stop. When you trying to take a break and breathe, boom, she hit you with some more and then she leave. That's, she can rank up there with the big boys. Like there are a lot of comics, in my opinion, that can't hold a candle to her. And that's just me. Right. So
I don't disagree with you because I definitely thought she was funny as hell from back in the Comic View days when I first saw her.
Yeah, I think she's funnier. I think she's funnier on stage stand-up wise than she is sketch wise, SNL type shit, but get your check.
I would agree with you because that's more to
that you get your check.
Yeah, because that's more to her. That's more to her craft. That's more to her love. That's what she's a stand-up comic first. Yeah, everything else second. So and she's mastered that, man. She's so good to do.
It's like the same thing, like Tony Baker.
Yes, from Chicago, by the way.
Absolutely from Chicago. Look, I'm on brand with the references. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Tony Baker is he do all the animal joints, the voiceovers, the miscellaneous or whatever, and people gravitate to him, love him. 2.5 million on Instagram. Yeah. Amazing. But when you ask him, which one would you take? Would you take stand-up or would you take your videos? The videos are what people see every single day. He do 3 to 5 a day. Every single day he I take stand-up all day. Stand up all day, and then it's not until you see him live and you cannot stop laughing, and he can give you all of them jokes without nothing that you laughed at him for before you bought that ticket to see him do stand up. Like, that's that shit. Because man, when I tell you when he came to the Cleveland Improv and he went to the audience and he said, "You get in your car, you about to drive off. You look in the backseat rearview mirror, serial killer eyes in the mirror. What you go?"
Hit the brakes and get out.
He said, and when they say hit the brakes, he said he got his seatbelt on.
That's funny. Exactly.
He killed you. Like,
so yeah. So yeah, that's it's so many. Yeah. It's you can get a million different answers, but I definitely think it's important to talk about the era and what you're speaking of. So the era when, because now the question is not, is Eddie Murphy one of the top 5 comics? Is he one of the top 5 performers of all time? Because how many movies has this man done?
Right.
Performers, no.
Because that's what comics, ultimately comics, true to comedy, love doing stand-up, but you give a comic an opportunity to be in a movie, they taking that 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
So,
of course.
And
that's kind of the difference. The thing is, it's difficult with some people because you look at them and it's like, you look at them for comedy a lot of times, especially when it comes to like people who do majority movie stuff. The thing that's difficult to gauge when it comes to them being a quote unquote comedian is a lot of times that ain't they pen. They're just delivering what somebody delivering from somebody who is funny pen or somebody who people think is funny pen. By comparison, getting up on that stage, of course, there's cats who get on stage, do stand up, and they got writers, of course. Right. But the majority, you got to get up there with your pen type. So it's kind of different. It's difficult because the same shit applies to rap. Like looking at somebody with a ghostwriter, and it's like you can't call him the top when he don't write that. You know what I'm saying? Like I can like what you put out, but I can't call you the top when it comes to the craft because you didn't pen that. By comparison to your Jay-Z gonna get up there and that's from out of his mind. That count.
Right. Absolutely. So yeah, it's that's my official answer, folks.
Absolutely. Like I said, you couldn't have answered it any better because, like I said, the main thing of you telling me that you don't play when it comes to stand-up, I respect the shit out of because that's exactly what I want to hear. If you're not going to be doing it full-time or you can't put the work in like you should, don't play around with it because there's so many people out here that bust their ass daily to put in that real work. And if you're not ready to give it that same kind of dedication, don't play with it. I won't even go to an open mic and get on stage because I haven't prepared.
Right.
I'm taking up somebody else's time who's been writing jokes all week, and they're trying to, just to see if they're funny. And it took a lot of courage to get up there. Period. Like that takes courage, and to get shut down, and to get booed, and to bomb, and to come back and do it again. Like you got to be a glutton for punishment. So I've been there, done that. I've had all those experiences. I'm not afraid of them. That's not the issue. Now, could I get on a stage impromptu and do some crowd work and mess around for a little bit? Yeah, I could do that. We can all do that. I mean, I'm pretty good at that. But that's not me writing jokes and delivering them. That's crowd work. That's
understood.
Yeah, it's a difference. In my opinion.
As with somebody who hosted an open mic for a couple years straight. I got to a point where I was very much the same way. I used to go down there to just perform because I wanted to perform. I wanted to get on the stage and tear that joint down. My rap stuff or whatever, or sometimes I take verses from songs and just perform them as like a spoken word piece, whatever the case may be. And it got to a point where people knew, like they know if I get on the mic, I'm tearing that joint down. That's cool. Right. But at the same time, eventually it got to a point where, like yourself, I wasn't actively doing it all the time. So I know if I'm getting up there, I'm doing something old, I'm doing something that, I know people don't like or whatever, but it's somebody else in here that is not going to get on because they're going to run out of time because I got on. And I don't need to, you know what I'm saying? So
you're not growing as a talent either. Like if I may add that, exactly. You're not doing yourself any service. You're not writing new jokes. You're not taking that one joke that you worked on and turn it into a bit that stretches from 30 seconds to a minute and a half. You're just you're spinning your wheels. So you can.
I don't want to live on what I did before. If I'm not coming to you with something new right now, if I'm not coming to you with something dope right now, like, do I still even have it? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want you to only be able to reference what I did 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Yeah. If I'm coming to you right now, you got to feel it right now. I'm coming with the heat. You know what I'm saying? So
just like they say in the NBA, you only as good as your last game, dog.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Period.
So you went out. So you went out there and was trash. Oh, fam, you trash. Like, that's just what it is. Unfortunately,
you could have killed for 10 weeks straight, but when I saw you, garbage time. Sorry.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So, and that definitely applies to comedians. You get up there and everybody know funny, and they expect you to be funny, and they done laughed at you 1,000 times, and then you get up there and you bombing. That gotta be horrible.
That is the longest, loneliest moments in the world is when you're bombing. But as a comic, you got to embrace that. You have to. That's the only way to get better is to bomb, man. Let that be told. If you're not bombing, you ain't getting better.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely. Because you got to work it out. You got to work it out. So my question is, with all right, so y'all got season 1 out the way. Y'all get picked up on season 2. Y'all get that done. It's out the way. Now, not only is it done, but now it's completely out. Y'all getting the reactions. Y'all getting the reviews. Y'all getting eyes on y'all. Because the thing is, it took somebody like him to come and say, here's this Sherman showcase. Like I got hip to Sherman showcase first from him, then followed up and watched SouthSide. Not too long, because he had to wait a whole year. I only got hip X months back earlier this year. We started this podcast we started March. Recording in February, but like released in March. So we've been going since then. So within one of that first few episodes, he put me on the Shermans, which then led to SouthSide. So I didn't have to wait that long between season 1 and 2 for my views. And I felt like season 1 was great. I was a fan. I'm already locked in. Count me in. But then season 2, I felt like which is difficult out the gate. As much as I love and praise season 1, season 2 split my sides. I'm like, this is so damn funny. I'm like, I just wanted it to be on par. I didn't expect it to be better because sequels usually trash. You know what I'm saying? Like
the sophomore jinx.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? The follow-up ain't usually as strong. But when I felt like the vast majority of season 2 was even funnier.
Now that thank you very much.
No, absolutely. And with that said, now that it's done, now that it's out, now that there's praises, there's acclaim behind it. That's cool. But what are y'all doing now? Like while you wait to find out, like are you working on a new concept? Are you working on something else? Like what I know you got to bask in the ambiance or whatever, but like what's next though? Like are you whipping something else in case it ain't a season 3 to pitch somewhere else? Or
I mean, one of the things I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for what everybody else is doing, but I'm always constantly creating and writing new ideas. I've actually written a couple of screenplays, and I have a couple of other show ideas that are, in the can, if you will, kind of being pushed along. And that's what I do while I wait to hear the announcement, if we're going to have a season 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever. That's what I do to keep myself busy. And that's why that's one of the reasons why I'm not doing stand-up right now, is because I've fallen in love with creating shows and writing movies and writing game shows, and just the whole idea of being able to create funny, entertaining shows that are, in my personal opinion, hilarious. So I'm always cooking something. I spend a lot of time writing. I spend a lot of time by myself writing, or writing with a couple of other individuals, depending on what the project is. I can't speak to those projects because of NDAs and the potential that they're going to come out, or people stealing ideas, et cetera, et cetera. But just know that as a creator, I'm always creating something. Like I'm never, because it's once you open Pandora's box to being a creator, it doesn't stop, man. I get ideas when I'm driving. I get ideas when I'm walking. I get ideas when I'm talking to, friends and family, and they're everywhere. And I have a shoebox full of like napkins with single ideas on them from like 6 years ago. So, whenever I feel like I want to revisit old ideas or work on something that's inspired me here as of late, I just turn to that. So I'm never like waiting for the next big shoe to drop, if you will. I'm trying to create it. And I think, that's the difference between some being successful in this business and not being successful in this business is you got to be able to create your own opportunities, and you got to be able to create shows, movies, or things that you're passionate about that you actually want to see on TV, or the big screen, or a game show, if you will, so that people can fall in love with that and really get that vision that you have inside and that fire burning inside. They can become part of it. And that's what I do.
Okay.
Yeah, look, we getting all the good answers. We getting the information.
Well, I mean, like,
the exclusives.
Sultan is obviously not bullshitting, and he, media training or not, he knows how to get shit on.
It's not a game. I mean, it's not a game. It's not a game.
Right. Well, that's why we fuck with you, because like I said, the whole vibe is that we felt like regardless if we liked your show or not, I think that there's a certain vibe that we get from all of you, like I said, where if it seemed like it was going to be hoity-toity, you wouldn't even have bothered to ask. Right. Like I said, it's just there's something like that's more connected where we're like, yeah, I feel comfortable really talking to this person, asking them what I really want to know about some shit that I love that they do. I
appreciate that.
So no, that's exactly why you're here. Now, not really speaking of which, but a question I forgot to ask. I asked already the same thing. How much of Simon is you?
Yeah, that was coming.
How much of Simon is me? Simon's very materialistic. I'm not necessarily materialistic. Simon's quick-witted. I'm also quick-witted. Simon's a little over the top and emotional at times. I'm not that emotional, and I'm not. I like to think and strategize, and I sit back and I ponder before I make a move. But when it comes to the hustle of Simon, the grittiness of trying to make something better for himself, I absolutely am like that.
For sure.
Yeah, I think it's important to have that fire on the inside to push you. Like I compete against myself more than anybody else.
Same.
And I'm always trying. Yeah, and I'm always trying to outdo myself and push myself in different limits. And I like living in a space of uncomfortableness. Like I don't enjoy being comfortable, if that makes sense, because that's when I become just passe about things. So there's a lot in the character that is not me, but there's also some elements, as I've described, that are me. And one of those for sure is the creativity and the entrepreneurial spirit. We share that absolutely.
For sure. I have two that are very important to me. Questions here. One being, how is it that you look like the younger brother? One between you and Bashir.
Which younger brother? Oh, how do I look like? DNA, my friend. DNA.
I had no clue. When he said, oh, they're brothers, I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. He put his little brother on. No, other way around, nigga. Wait a minute. Okay, hold on, that's not it. So that's one. How are you maintaining the youth? Because I want to do the same thing.
Well, first of all, it goes back. If you know anybody who's a Gemini, all right, I'm a Gemini. If you know anything about Geminis, they look young majority of their life. So I don't know what that is, but it's a Gemini thing. And then the other thing is, like, I take really good care of myself. Like, I drink a lot of water, I hike, I bike. I'm not out here boozing it up, smoking and doing all kind of crazy shit to make myself, age in that way. But the other thing about it is, when I say DNA, like, Bashir looks like my mom's dad, and I look like my dad's dad.
Gotcha,
so we look like our grandfathers on opposite sides. And so there's a difference. Here's a funny story. When I was in high school, and I think Bashir, I was like a junior, and Bashir was like a freshman. And one of the twins came over to the house, and Bashir came up from the basement, and Quincy goes to me. He's like, "Hey man, is that your father?" I said, "Man, shut up. That's my brother." So you're not the first one, man. It's been going on that way for a while. So yeah, I mean, when we were little, man, I was taller than him for like 5 minutes. And then one day I looked up, he was bigger, taller, and people started asking me if that was my father, and I was like, "No, man, it's my little brother." They was like, "I don't believe you." And I'm like, "Well, all right," but it is. So
I feel you. Yeah, my little brother taller than me, and he looked exactly like my father. was like, bro,
exactly. That's it. DNA, man. It's it's hard to say DNA, but it's funny, It's funny.
Yeah, for sure. And the other thing is, now, you know what I'm saying, because this is a different thing right now. You beard gang up, you know what I'm saying. You in the fellowship right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If we go season 3, will Simon be beard gang?
Oh no, Simon's clean cut, man. That character is. He got the he got the pencil mustache. He try to look cute. He think he cute for the ladies. Think he a woman. He think he's a ladies man. That's another thing that's different between. I'm not a ladies man. Simon, swear to God, he's a ladies man. But
for sure.
Yeah, he tries, but he fails a lot. Long story short is this is the other thing about it is, man, like when you're on set, and a lot of people don't notice, to keep that look, you got to get cut up every day, and that has if you don't shave regularly, that has an adverse effect on your skin. You get the bumps and you get your skin get rubbery and all tough. And, part of me letting my beard grow out is letting my skin heal too. So the oils inside the beard and all that, it moisturizes the skin and it's really good for the face. So when I do shave it down, it's like crystal clean and, all that other stuff. So I got to keep it like that in the off season.
Got you. Yeah. Makes sense. Makes perfect sense to me. You know what I'm saying? I just, being a beard gang representative.
Yeah, indeed. I'm a scruffy guy though. Like, when it comes down to it, I enjoy my beard. I enjoy the ash on my hands sometimes,
Hey, yeah, look, we that's just man.
I'm a
stuff.
dude.
Yeah,
I'm a dude, man. I'm a
that's
dude.
all that is. Yeah. Big, what else you got, man? Because
I'm about to say, can I be part of the conversation?
Yeah, bro, come on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, going on in, you know what I'm saying? With your smooth chin.
That's funny.
Yeah, see, that's the kind of shit I got to deal with this guy.
Hey, man, it happens.
Y'all look like y'all having a good time, man. Y'all doing some good things. Really proud of you and proud of your show, man. Like, I just got to say I was honored to come on because anytime brothers are trying to do something positive and build their own thing, I'm all about it. So continue that. Don't stop. And as I tell a lot of like people that I talk to about their dreams or what they're ever doing, I tell them, it's more than one way to the top of the mountain, and I'll see you at the top.
Absolutely. Is there anything else that you want to cover before we gotta let them go?
I can't think of anything. Like I said, he covered a gamut.
Yeah, I feel like we got to pop it. I ain't gonna lie.
Like I said, I loved every minute of it. But
so did I. Look, I feel like I really got it popping, and we didn't like we killed him. I'm about to go find all the other niggas I know with podcasts. Be like,
well, I mean, I guess we 2 for 2 because Dory seemed like she had fun with you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So you know what I'm saying? Look, this is the thing. Where I don't care what nobody think or how nobody feel. I'll interview the whole cast because everybody's funny, and I'm like, yeah, this is dope. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we appreciate that. I think it's important to say, and that you guys to know that all of your tweets and messages and the positive reinforcement and the support that you guys give us. We may not say it, but we hear it, see it, we feel it. And we're very thankful because we couldn't be in this position without you guys. So just want to let you know that we feel that energy coming back, and we're very thankful.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, huge shout out to Deborah, wherever she may be, for putting us together because
indeed,
got straight to it. It was like, yes, look at you with the timely responses and whatnot. Indeed. So
Debbie Holstein, shout out to Debbie Holstein.
Big shout out to Debbie one time. We appreciate you for tapping in with us and just taking some time to sit down, man. This is a really dope experience for us, and we just want to be able to keep on bringing these things in for our people that do rock with us, and we just gonna build this thing out. Starting Monday, actually, we'll be going up to 4 shows a week, so it's about to get real aggressive going into the rest of this year with this show.
Before we get off, I just want to mention one thing, and when you brought up Debbie, because we work really closely together on a nonprofit organization as well. It's called Lane 44. And you can look it up, www.lane44.org. That's our nonprofit organization. And what we're doing is we are, right now we're raising capital, but we write and create feature films for the youth of the South Side of Chicago to participate in, where they are participating behind the camera as well as in front of, with an opportunity of them learning the business on the south side of Chicago. So that's our goal. We're actually starting a relaunch because before COVID, we were moving really well, but COVID hit and it kind of put the kibosh on a lot of things. And we're doing a round of angel investing and all that other good stuff. So just want to throw that out there for the fans, anybody that's listening that wants to support that cause. Lane, LANE, number 4.org, www.lane44.org. And, it has a full write-up and all that other stuff. And you can donate. And we're going to be doing a relaunch, looking for angel investors for our next project. So I just wanted to get that in before we get out of here, because I kind of felt like the songs were coming and I wanted to get that in before we did.
No, absolutely. Look, I made sure we just threw that across the bottom of the scroll down there.
Thank you. Yes, indeed.
So we definitely listen. Just trying to do what we can on the production side and make this thing as dope as possible. But yeah, we genuinely appreciate you. For anybody who taps in, tunes in, as always. On the usual, we tell y'all, if you want to jump in, questions, concerns, comments, you can drop in live with us right here on twitch.tv/BKA Watts or at the Pro3ENT YouTube channel. As always, if you have questions, concerns, comments beyond the show, you hit those, send those over to us at blerdsandclips@gmail.com. And maybe, just maybe, we'll put y'all on to the show and y'all can get a question in one of these fly ass guests that we get, because we out here in these streets.
Let's make sure also, do you have anything else that you want to promote? Because we're all about that.
Yeah.
I mean, I could always use some more fans on Instagram, but that, you know how that goes. That's just to support the show.
Absolutely.
All of your
was that Simon J. Southside?
Yeah, Simon J. Southside. That's just my two things. It's Simon J. Southside and Lane 44. And I know I just wanted to tell everybody, make sure you listen to Blerds and Clips. One of the hottest podcasts out right now, and I'm honored to be on it.
We out here in these streets. All right, that's about to be the official drop. I'm putting that everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Tell them it's my cousin. You know what I'm saying?
What's happening, cuzzo?
What's happening, cuz? No, man, look, in every possible way imaginable, we appreciate you. Thank you for your time, man. And we'll be in touch. When it comes to that piece of art, would the best way be to get in touch with Debbie to get that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she takes care of those things for me.
Okay, absolutely.
Yeah.
So then, I'll get that taken care of and get that sent over to you, man. Get you something that I think that you will enjoy. I appreciate you and appreciate your time, Vic. Anything else before we wrap it up?
Man, thank you. That's all.
Yeah, I know, right? That's it.
You're welcome.
Just thank you. We'll just sit here and tell you thank you for the next 20 minutes.
Hey, you're welcome, and the pleasure was all mine, gentlemen. Keep doing what you're doing.
You know what I'm saying? Let the rest of the crew know we'll be sending them DMs.
They'll know.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all should try to interview Quincy, man. Hit him up.
No, I was thinking it.
If I can
hit him up.
Both of them, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
Quincy and Kareem. I mean, hit him up, man. They would love to be on your show. Absolutely.
We got two.
Yeah, we're gonna see how many of the cast we can get.
Tell them I said be on the show. They're gonna. No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah, hit them up, man. I'll. You know what? I'll even let them know.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. On levels you'll never understand, man. All right, so look, that's gonna go ahead and wrap it up for us. Y'all show love. Make sure y'all go follow the big homie at Simon J. Southside. He need them fans over on Graham. He already verified though. You know what I'm saying? He already hogging up the blue checks. You know what I'm saying?
Hold up. More important than that, make sure for all of y'all that either are paying for or stealing your HBO Max. Watch SouthSide.
Watch SouthSide on HBO Max.
2 whole seasons.
We have brought up SouthSide too many damn times on this pod in the past year to not basically be a fanboy of SouthSide podcast almost at this point. So watch SouthSide. Stop bullshitting when we tell you hurry up and watch them 20 episodes.
Stop playing.
You go to Hulu and you watch Sherman Showcase as well.
Indeed.
Just to make sure you got it all in.
Indeed.
Absolutely agreed. I appreciate you, bro. That is a very necessary thing. Listen, man. Look, there we go. Watch Southside and quit bullshitting, scrolling across the bottom. What you doing, man? Why you?
That's what it is.
That's what it is. You know what I'm
saying?
All right, so that's gonna go ahead and wrap it up for us on another 5 episode of the Blerds and Clips podcast. Make sure you follow me at BKA Watts.
Figatron 999.
And one more time, Simon J. Southside. We appreciate y'all one time. Y'all just keep on tapping in, tuning in. There's going to be more fire Instagram things happening. There's going to be new episodes coming all the goddamn time. As always, love, peace, and chicken grease.
Peace.